Product market fit. So that's a term people are starting to throw around more commonly. And basically what it means is this business working? And entrepreneurs talk to me frequently about how long to keep going when it kind of doesn't feel like it's actually working. It can be tiring. It can certainly take a lot of energy from people. And so I wanted to talk a bit about not necessarily how to get it, but how at least I thought about it in my entrepreneurial journey. So I started 5 companies. I would say that only the fifth one ever achieved product market fit, and it achieved it pretty quickly. And so for the other 4, what it really felt like, the way I would describe it to people is almost pushing a boulder uphill, right? Like you can move things, but it just takes energy. Every sale, every customer, every user, you actively are have to insert energy to get it kind of going, and then it sort of doesn't really do anything beyond that unless you insert more energy. With my 5th company, which was AdMob, once it started going, what it felt to me was more like a boulder rolling downhill, right? So I still had to be involved because I had to sort of direct its momentum. I had to make sure it didn't get caught in a gutter or run into a tree or do anything wild. But it had motion and it had energy on its own. Customers were signing up on their own. People were, submitting buys on their own. Publishers were signing up on their own. I had to tell people about it, but once I told them about it, it sort of took off from there. And so I do encourage the companies I'm working with to think about whether or not they have product market fit and how much energy they're having to put into the system themselves to make things move. If you're doing everything, if you have to push every step of the way, I would say it's probably time to change something. I'm not saying necessarily relaunch your whole business, but you definitely need to, rather than insert more energy into exactly what you're doing, think about what you can change to try and make sure the system has its own momentum, because it's just too hard to continue to push on your own the entire time. The other thing where I would say the other issue that this correlates with is some companies, as a part of this energy where they're trying to infuse success into their business, they will honestly just try to do what we call sort of manufacturing the signs of success as opposed to manufacturing success itself. Meaning what? It means like buying a whole bunch of like tchotchkes for the office and having these parties and, issuing press releases and doing all kinds of stuff that basically symbolizes we're doing well, when the main real issue about doing well in the first place, about building that momentum, isn't there. And so you really need to avoid that as well. Like, be honest about whether something's working, be honest about whether it is moving with its own momentum, and then if it's not, try and find that. That is the first key to building a successful business, and you can feel it when it's happening. I spent most of my entrepreneurial career without that, and when it happened, it was a whole different experience. And so I would just encourage every entrepreneur, step 1 is to feel that momentum behind the business. It always takes some pushing to get going, but when you have it right, it's going to, for every bit of energy you insert, it's going to respond with increased energy on its own, as opposed to requiring constant pushing from you.